I'm the doctor, by the way. What's your name?
Rose.
Nice to meet you, Rose. Run for your life.
It's the Solar One Sci-Fi Podcast.
Well, hello there. I'm Martin smiling in the background, putting me off my intro. This is episode 184 of the Solar One Sci-Fi Podcast. I'm Michael Ball. I'm joined once again by the demigod of knowledge, Mr. Martin Fowler. Hopefully, we'll be joined by my colleague Malcolm Patterson as well. But he's not materialised yet, so hopefully we'll see him as well. How are you doing, Martin?
I'm doing very well. I'm quite happy at the moment. Quite relaxed.
Now, are you happy about what's behind you?
Yes, I am. Yes, I've had a major wank fest over it. It's been brilliant.
Oh well, it's you know, you got to do it. You know, it's kind of like
Comic Con, an arcade machine, and that's the replica. But who doesn't want one?
Well, I have had a fruit machine, and I have got a tabletop. It's got 60 games in it, and it's got MS Pac-Man, Galaxian, Galaga, Donkey Kong, all the classic 80s proper arcade, the best. You know, I don't think it's got Star Wars Trilogy arcade. It's got a lot. So, what have you played? Have you played them all yet? How many games you got?
Played Pac-Man.
The original
Galaga, Galaxian, Dig Dug.
Have you got Space Invaders?
No.
Oh no, you got Space Invaders.
Now I've got this balloon thing, Summit Kingdom. It's like balloons, but it's Space Invaders.
Space Invaders balloons.
And I've got the show 'em up one, Summer X. Oh, the rally, there's X Rally. That's fucking terrible. That's just.
But they're terrible. Good. Those games. I don't like modern games.
No, but there's this great show 'em up where I forgot what it's called, Secret Agent something. It's a platformer. I found that rather addictive. I've been mostly on
mine on my
Galaxian.
Mine has got the graphics because obviously I've got the green screen. Mine's showing Space Invaders, Pac-Man, Galaxian, and Donkey Kong. It's got those four, but it's got about 60.
And it's great. I mean, like I said, I know how yours runs. Yours will have an emulator like MAME, and it will just play. Basically, what you're paying for is, and this is obviously legally, you are paying for an arcade replica which runs
with the
ROMs, it actually runs the ROMs. An emulator will run the ROMs like an old arcade machine will do, and instead of putting like 20p in the slots, it will be like start, or it'll be things like that, and it is. But they're great, and I think it's so great you got it, because you know me, that game behind you.
I'm quite excited. Honestly, I've just always wanted one.
And that game, I've shown you that screen grab. I did hack it. MS Pac-Man Android. I actually did a game of MS Pac-Man. I actually hacked it, and it got played around the world, which is really cool. So it's got my name in it as well. So that's cool. So what do we talk about this week? So I see Malcolm's coming on as well. So let's just get him on. I don't know how long he's been waiting for, but we'll join him on as well. Okay. Let's give it a second. Here he is, Mr. Patterson. What's that behind him? Hello. He's back.
Hello.
Back 7. How you doing, Malcolm? Sorry, I don't know how long you've been waiting. I didn't see you waiting to be admitted, so we weren't ignoring you. But Martin has just got an arcade machine emulator, and it's really cool. And I love classic 80s games. So I don't know if you like old games like me, but MS Pac-Man, Galaxian, Space Invaders, all that sort of stuff. So anyway, how are you, Malcolm?
Yeah, I'm trying to get one working I'm trying to get an old Commodore 64 one working, but I haven't found one yet. So,
I was the rival. I was always the 128 Spectrum. There's the Spectrum and things like that in Commodore, but that's really cool. So yeah, nice to have you on board. And how are you in your part of the world? All right?
Yeah, all good. All good.
Yeah, good. So we're going to be talking about Doctor Who. It's a very Doctor Who thing, because we've got Doctor Who news, i.e. new Doctor Who, plus the 9th Doctor era. So before we go into that, maybe we should just ask generally. Now, one question to Malcolm. We are to talk about spoilers for Discovery Season 5. I know you've not seen it. Shall we not talk about it for spoilers, or do you not care?
I don't care. The chances of me... I cannot get through Season 4. I put it on 5 minutes later. I've got to turn it off.
Season 4.
Season 5 is better.
Season 4 was a joke.
Season 4 is the weakest, I think, out of it. But Season 5...
when I got to the end of that, I was like, is that it?
All right, let's ask a question to Malcolm, because you know Star Trek. A well-known race which first appeared in Deep Space Nine is back in Discovery Season 5. Any idea who? If you know all the races, I don't know how well you know DS9, but a race has come back, and I quite like the way they've come back. Any guesses as to who they are? Like I said, no spoilers. Right, it is the Breen, who were part of the Dominion War, the ones with the weird helmets, and they're back. Yeah. And I have to say, I think they've actually brought them back. They've slightly redesigned them, but I'm actually quite enjoying the Breen. Martin, what do you think about the Breen in Discovery?
I mean, last week's episode, I just couldn't be bothered with it.
Oh, really? But
the one where they're on that planet with the whistling people.
Oh no, the one. Have you seen the one after where Mulder and Locke are obviously? That's not the one on the Enterprise. It's the one where one of the captors is injured, and they had to seek the. Have you not seen the most?
Oh yeah. Prime Directive episode where they're totally broke and helps out with that primitive society.
No, that was one. There's been one after that. There's been one where Mole is the Breen is very badly injured, and they seek the Breen to actually see if they can save him.
That's this week. That last week's episode.
Yes, you have seen it. Oh yeah,
I just caught up today.
Did you think that one was alright?
I thought that put me back on track with it.
I thought it was quite good.
I like how they portrayed the Breen.
Yeah, but the Breen, we'd never seen the Breen before, but they're actually, I kind of think they're doing them quite well. So, only 3 more episodes to go for the whole series.
Well, I've got some good news for you both. I would say Planet of the Apes.
Oh, okay, no spoilers.
It cost me $13.99. I went into cinema, right?
You liked it, didn't you?
Do you know, best film I've seen this year. Honestly, I went to this cinema at Swiss Cottage, right?
Yeah.
And it was $13.99 in, right? And I thought, I went in and you got these recliner chairs instead of the recliner chair. They had a table you could pull round in front of you.
Oh, really?
And the cinema was quite small.
Okay.
Inside, but next door they had an IMAX in there as well. But it was done out like retro 1950s.
Oh wow!
It was very nice. Yeah, I'm quite impressed.
Because apparently this new one is the first of a new trilogy. Apparently, if it does well.
Yeah. Well, we're going into batshit crazy world now.
Okay.
Of the underdwellers and everything. They're throwing the cannon at this now.
Oh, I mean,
and that's all I'm going to say.
I hope that we're going to see, because it's interesting. I was looking. I thought that beneath the Planet of the Apes.
I think we've met the lawgiver. I suspect Sid.
Okay.
They're setting up for that world.
Okay.
They're setting. I can't give it. I don't want to give
No. But I want to see.
When I left, it was floating around in my head for 24 hours.
Now I'm glad it's good. I'm going to check it out. I did finally see Ghostbusters Afterlife, which has been banned, and I think Malcolm said he was going to see it as well. He's got a cheeky look at his face. Yeah, Malcolm, what did you think of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire? What did you think of it?
Absolute shit. It was beyond shit. There was nothing good in it at all.
I'm looking forward to Malcolm's reactions now, because I know that he doesn't beat about the bush. Like, okay, that's shit. You know what I mean?
It was totally sad, wasn't it, that film?
Not as bad as all that. It wasn't as bad as it was.
I mean, it slightly had the odd little moment.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like that.
The villain were crap.
Yeah,
the villain were crap. We didn't get to see it till then, and when it turned it up, they sucked it into what is it, and I just can't bother with it and written it off. Okay, that's it now. They've ruined something else now. It's Ghostbusters down the toilet sober.
Ghostbusters toilet, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I did. I think I was probably out of you two. I didn't love it. I didn't loathe it. I was on the fence with it. I don't know. I don't think. It feels like the problem was there's too many characters in the film, and it felt like a rough draft. It felt like they had some ideas and they just chucked it out there rather than waiting 6 months and getting it a bit more whittled down, get rid of some of those characters we didn't need, and working on the premise a bit better.
But we said that 2 years ago. Afterlife was.
Yeah, we did talk about that,
and then Ghostbusters will be defined on the film after.
And
that.
You said that. Yeah.
Afterlife was just a tribute to the past. Yeah. And it worked but the next film will define it, and they've sunk it. I saw Al's review. You know Al?
Oh yeah, Al Smith. Yeah.
I saw AJ. He wants to.
Oh, I know. Because I keep asking actually, because he did the one review of the original Ghostbusters, but I really like him. He has some great rants about stuff, and he's just a very interesting character. I sent out a link to his channel if I remember, but he hated it. He really, really was disappointed with it, and he's the biggest Ghostbusters fan I know. So for him to say that is, I respect his opinion, and if he wasn't impressed, then. I don't know, and also, like I said, this is a long-term Ghostbusters fan. If you're more of a take it or leave it kind of thing with Ghostbusters, but I don't know that I didn't hate it as much as some people. There were some elements I liked about it. The weird thing was that somebody said that when you see a ghost in Ghostbusters, they don't look normally like a pure human, but they had this female character she looked like a proper, like you had the they had this like jail gang in Ghostbusters 2, but they don't look quite, they look sort of weird, sort of cartoony almost, but they had this female character who interacted with is it Spengler's granddaughter? I can't remember the actual character's name, and she was a bit weird. It just felt a bit off. It felt like, I don't know, it just didn't feel like it quite fitted in with the Ghostbusters film franchise. I don't know, I could see
the fact she spoke was one of the weirdest bits, because in the previous film no one spoke. Obviously they didn't want to replicate Harold Ramis's voice, but none of the ghosts spoke previous to this. That's right,
actually you're right, they don't normally speak apart from Gozer. I think Gozer the Gazarian, she spoke, didn't she?
Yeah, but Gozer,
you're right. Yeah, she wasn't like an average ghost. Most of them just sort of like, yeah. Anyway, I'm glad I saw it. I wouldn't have gone to the cinema to see it. I think I would have come out. I know, and I didn't. Luckily, I saw a digital copy, but it's only just been released digitally. But yeah, okay. What else is going on? I think really, apart from obviously Star Wars Acolytes building up, it's already been touted as very, very woke and stuff like that. Which now in this episode, we're going to give an opinion about all this stuff. We're not going to be trying. We're going to try and be in the middle where there are elements which might be more for a newer audience than compared to an older audience. And obviously, I suppose at this point we have to ask, have you two both now seen Doctor Who Series 14, Episodes 1 and 2, or 2 and 3 if you count the Christmas special? And if you did, Malcolm's nodding. Martin, have you seen them both?
Do we have to talk about this?
Yeah. Well, that's why we're here.
I had my mate came round and did some
I'm ready
on Sunday.
Okay.
Let's
take.
Right, and he left, and I thought Sunday night I'm gonna watch 2 hours of Doctor Who. Space Babies.
Oh my god!
Don't get me fucking started on that. I sat through that shite, right? Absolute, complete, utter. I'd sat there, and I thought, what am I watching?
Yeah.
All of it. It was just terrible. They were like, and I managed to get through Space Babies without turning. I did. But I will say now, this is where I do and slightly defend it. I'll probably get shot down. I thought episode 2 wasn't that bad. The thing that ruined episode 2 for me was the Disney shit at the end.
What bit was that?
When they started dancing around and all, yeah.
Oh, okay. I think meant the farting ship at the end.
But I did like the entity was related to the toy maker.
Well, the entity, yeah, and also the toy maker was also related to the trickster from Sarah Jane. They're all part of the. Yeah. Began with P. I can't remember, but there is a.
The nearest definite, they're like Q entities, aren't they?
Yeah, they're all part of a group which were actually introduced a long time ago. Obviously, with the trickster as part of it, and then the toy. I don't know. I mean, there were some elements about the second episode which. Again, it had the musical thing. It had the Beatles that we.
I didn't mind it. I thought I liked the concept of the Q-type beans. I thought that was interesting, but they're all scared of this other one that it was mentioned in the toy maker one. There was something darker and more powerful than all of them, and it's coming. All right. I think we've seen it. It's all. I think it's that woman who we saw. I think.
Yeah, but Malcolm saw this on Facebook because he commented as well. And I'm probably wrong, but I realised that Susan was mentioned in the episode, and also the actress who plays Susan, I can't remember her name, was at the premiere. Now I'm pretty sure that Susan is returning. Now I did think that maybe Ruby's mother is actually going to be Susan. Probably crap, but I just got the feeling that something about tying in with the original cast of Doctor Who 963 is going to be coming along. Okay, Malcolm, let's ask your opinion, because obviously I'm always slightly wary about your opinions, and I tend to duck in case it's very fierce.
Okay, so I was working Saturday. Now, obviously, the episodes are on iPlayer from midnight.
Yes.
You can watch them that early. So I was at work, so about 10:30 I watched them.
Okay.
So Space Babies, I just couldn't believe how crap that was. It started off so well. I think I sent you a message and said, like 5 minutes in, I said, okay, so he definitely feels like the Doctor.
Yes, you
and
said
him
that.
And Rose,
yes.
him and Millie, they felt like kind of the Eccleston Rose sort of vibe from the first bit. I know a lot of people online have got the ump that there was so much of him explaining, I'm the Doctor, I travel in time and space and all this.
It's like a reboot, though.
I don't really give a toss that he
I wasn't bothered. To
me, it would be strange if he didn't explain that to a new companion, to be fair, someone who's going to travel with it. But then we get into the episode. Now, obviously, I assume it's Russell T Davies is a big fan of Alien, because he tried to make it as alien as possible.
It did
them running
Alien.
through the corridors.
It resembled the Alien as well. Yes,
guiding them where they're going, and the alien. And then they just introduced these fucking babies, and it was just, what the fuck is this shit? I've said to you before, this was a show that had people hiding behind fucking sofas, and now we've got talking babies and fucking bogey monsters. What is this shit?
Well, I sat there when they said, look, it's a snot monster. I just, it was like they were trying to be disgusting. Oh, you know what it's made? And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, come on. Just come on.
And Devil's Cord. So, when we watch Picard season 3 and things like The Giggle and that, and I've said to you, the only reason that people like these episodes is because they harken back. They always go back, and they, to what came before. That's why Picard season 3 was so successful.
It was brilliant.
This Cord one shows you this was just basically a remake of The Giggle, except they took away all the fan nostalgia stuff and they replaced an A1 celebrity with a fucking zero talent fucking non-entity shit cast as the villain. And now you can see that the story itself was shit. So The Giggle, if you took away Neil Patrick whatever his name was, and all the fan stuff, that episode would have been shit as well, to be fair.
I mean, there was a straight, obviously, like I said, a parallel.
You say, like there were moments in the second episode I was sort of interested in, and I like the scene where he's scanning her to see what it is about her.
What it's all about, yeah.
And then I like the thing of so we've got it at Christmas about this dark entity that's coming, or I think it's here. This entity. We saw a little kid at end. Obviously, that was the entity. Sort of that. But then again, we're going to get 13 episodes or whatever of the build-up of this malevolent, dark, cosmic being. And when we get there, we're going to get let down. Trust me on this.
It's going to be the biggest anticlimax ever. It always is.
Yeah. The moment we're in the build-up stage, and we're sort of... Because, number 2 were better than 1, but there was still the dancing around shit and all that. It was like Disney. Disney's in there now. They're in.
Well, there was a point.
I think Disney have that much input. I know they've got a seat at the table, but I think this is all Russell T Davies. I don't think Disney.
Really?
They've said from the very beginning, Disney's money is about global stuff. I think fart jokes, and that's Russell T Davies.
Yes, it is.
So I don't think Disney have got much control over anything. It's all him that's doing it.
And
he has done since 2005.
It's amazing, isn't it? Russell T Davies we got Tennant for him, and Eccleston, and he created superb doctors and superb writing in that era. And now we've got him back, and we all thought he's going to be he's going to bring that sort of intelligent story writing. I don't have a problem when they put politics into it, as long as it's delivered within the sci-fi storyline. Like, it's done very clever, and they used to
Like
do
the
that
two they did
very
here.
well.
I wasn't bothered with the pop at abortion and the pop at the way people treat refugees. Happy with that.
Yeah.
No problem with them shooting
No,
that
I
in.
didn't. None of that bothered me. But I just feel that he's missing the point of what this is about. This is about intelligent writing, a storyline where you're going to be sat there thinking, that was good, that, and it gets you thinking. And we're not getting it. Instead, we're getting them prancing around, dancing into TARDIS. The end of it.
See, I've always said from the very beginning that he's not the god everyone thinks he is. Of the handful of decent episodes since 2005, he hasn't written any of them.
I agree.
He brought the show back, but he's actually he's not a good writer himself.
And what they say is that you in life you get your creative moment. You know, where it's like an album. You get that stroke of genius where you create the one thing, but then you can never replicate it. I think Russell T Davies has had his time. I think he delivered excellent episodes, you know. And Ncuti, I actually don't mind him. Actually, I think he has a lot of presence. I don't mind him. I don't find that.
Again, for Ncuti Gatwa, for me, it's too early to tell. I like he's got a good positive energy.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's and also other people have said that it's finally nice to see a Doctor who's finally got past the Time War, where it's kind of like, okay, that's happened to me, and it's not sort of like jaded by everything. He's just moving on, he's having fun. I like that.
And they've also stuck with Chibnall's origin as well, because when he said to her, he said, "I know
a lot of people
that in the first 2 minutes."
And a lot of people hate that.
That's established now.
Yeah, they thought that
established.
Russell T Davies would actually get rid of that because a lot of people are very unhappy.
Yeah, I said to people from the very beginning he wasn't. He's been the driving force behind the show since the beginning. Even when Moffat and Chibnall were in control, he was still
there in the background.
Still his idea. It was still his plan. It was still him pushing for this. So he was never getting rid of that.
No. So I mean, like I said, it's an interesting start. It is, you know, how a lot. I mean, there were a lot of people who are actually making it said, look, this might not be for you if you're an old-fashioned person, and we are going these directions and stuff like that. I wish they wouldn't. But I suppose.
But it's certainly days, isn't it?
And also, you have to acknowledge that, you know, it is trying to survive, and the world is changing. And I'm 51 years old. I'm older now, so. You know, I could watch.
I had this conversation. Is it our generation? Because obviously, younger, more progressive are going to.
Well, yeah, I could.
He's going to become their Doctor.
I personally think that elements of what they're doing now, for me, are a little bit too extreme for what I'm comfortable with. You know, it's slow, but it has been on for nearly 20 years since it's come back. You know, I mean, I was watching Peter Davison era when I was a kid. But that's how I got into Doctor Who. That's 50. That's 40 years ago. You know, it's a long time, and I don't know. I mean, when it came back the first time, we had the farting aliens in Parliament. You know, we had these quirky ideas. Obviously, Russell T Davies did exactly the same thing the first time around, and I was actually reminded, and we're going to talk about this, obviously, the main review, that how the first episodes of the 2005 series. When we had Rose and the Doctor coming in and saying, "Oh, are you an alien? Yes, I'm an alien, and this is the TARDIS." And we had just that this week again, the repeat. And although, you know, this is obviously for a Disney audience as well, because it's been referred to in America as Season 1, whereas still in the UK it's Series 14, which has only recently been made apparent. They are trying to get a new audience. It's kind of like a soft reboot. It's not a reboot, continuation. I hate the like reboot. It's a continuation in many ways. But they did it with Matt Smith when he came along with Amy Pond. They did it then, even though that was Series 5. You know, it's just the nature of the series that when a new Doctor comes along with a new companion, they try to find a way of, you know, getting the new audience and, you know, really liking the new characters, the new Doctor. It's just part of the what's the recipe of Doctor Who.
Oddly enough, Matt Smith was the first Doctor that I never felt was the same guy. Every incarnation up until then, although they all have wildly different personalities, they all felt to me like at their very core they were the same person with the same drive. Matt Smith was the first time I didn't feel like that. I thought he was a completely different character.
I wouldn't have out with Matt Smith. There were some episodes I did like him, but I just after Tennant for me in this last decade and a half was, if I had a Doctor in this, it'd be Tennant for me.
So let me ask Malcolm, what is it about Matt Smith's era that thought to yourself that's not quite right? It's not the Doctor.
I'm not sure if it's the era itself. There's so much about New Who that I'd love to go into, which I can't. I mean, I wasn't a massive fan of it from the very beginning. I loved the fact it came back, but there was a lot about it I didn't like.
Yeah.
And with Matt Smith, the idea that he can keep zipping backwards and forwards and dropping people at home, which I know they all did that, but he seemed to do it a lot more than that. But it was his basic character. He didn't seem like the Doctor anymore. Now he was this massive, mystical, well-known, like arch villain hero of the universe that everyone knew. He was never that before. The days of him turning up on planets and and no one knows who the hell he is seem to have been long gone, and every fucking knew who he was. And that to me didn't really sit right.
One aspect that I thought was actually more in defense of Matt Smith was that with David Tennant and Christopher Eccleston, they actually almost had romantic relationships for a companion, especially Matt Smith with Rose. I know we had it with Paul McGann with Grace, but Classic Who, the Doctor was very asexual. There was never a potential that he might actually develop feelings for a companion. Whereas obviously David Tennant's, he did have feelings. Matt Smith didn't ever have feelings for Amy Pond, did he really? But I suppose, I don't know, I mean...
No, but the thing was that Gallifrey being destroyed, he was the last of as far as we knew, he was the last of the Time Lords. Christopher Eccleston's journey was about redemption of the things he did. Now, I've listened to most of the Big Audio Time War. And the Time War, how they portrayed it wasn't very nice. And it wasn't, the Time Lords did sort of start it. And
but I mean,
things they did, they massacred billions, both sides. But the Time Lord atrocities, and he had to stop it. You get a sense of why Eccleston were like he was, and then Tennant, because Rose brought him back.
But Rose was different. I mean, do you think that maybe the Doctor in Classic Who should have had more than a platonic relationship with a companion, or maybe there was more of a romantic issue or scenario that could have happened? Because it only really happened with David Tennant, didn't it? It never happened with any other.
Don't you remember that scene when Tennant said to Rose, I think it was in his second series, when they were approaching that discussion, and he said, "I'll always go on. You will get old." He said
that was it. Yes,
I do remember that.
Yeah,
that's why and that made him fascinating, because he can't reach out. Can't reach out because
he's limited.
We're gone. We're dust. He's still going on 10,000.
We're like butterflies. We're like butterflies now in our lifespan.
So
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes
what
sense.
Is it? Catherine Tate's uncle, Wilf. He said to him, "To you, we must be so small."
I know, that's a good point. Yeah.
And there's them moments that make it, for me, that type of stuff defined Doctor Who. I don't, where we are now, I don't know. I'm not going to knock it. I wasn't impressed with the first episode. The second episode had potential, but then let's see what happens this week.
I think that Shooter Gatwa, though, I do think he does have an energy about him. He does have something about him which is nice. Yeah. And he's someone who's just, I don't know. He's just very unfamiliar as a Doctor. It's not about his race or anything. Obviously, he's not a Caucasian, but he, I don't know. I mean, it's like I saw Paul McGann. We had the Comic Con I never normally go to it. And
How did that go? I saw the pictures.
Oh, it was very, very busy. But I saw an Ecto One Ghostbusters thing, and I saw Paul McGann and Sylvester McCoy and Sophie Aldred. I didn't talk to them, but I saw them. It's always cool seeing an actor like that. But there was an interesting thing where there's another Comic Con somewhere in the UK with Paul McGann, and he actually had a 8th Doctor TARDIS exterior, and he was dressed up. And I thought to myself, when I saw this image over the weekend, I thought, my God, it would have been so good if Paul McGann had come back as the Doctor. You know, how they brought back David Tennant. I would love to have had one season. And I know they couldn't do that because they've already brought back Tennant, but I like Paul McGann. I mean, he was so limited in the time that we saw him.
You know, I mean, obviously you've got all the what's it called? What's those not those audio things? What are those audio things that they do with Doctor Who? What are they called?
Yeah, Big Finish.
Big Finish. Yeah, he's on Big Finish. But of course, we only had a very short vignette in Doctor Who's 50th, and we obviously had the original movie. And he was a great Doctor. I would love to see a bit more of him. And I
would have loved a 90s series of that.
Yeah, so I still hope that one day we'll see him. So at this point, I think what we'll do is we're obviously going to review the non Doctor era. I know we're very all over the place with Doctor Who, so we're going to come back in a second, and then we're going to go into our review of the week. So here we go.
It's the Solar Sci-Fi Focus of the Week.
Right, so our focus of the week is basically continuing on what we're talking about, and it's Doctor Who. But we are also talking about, which we have done today, is the return of Doctor Who in 2005. I remember because I got married about literally 3 months after it actually came back. And one of the people at the wedding was going on about me liking Doctor Who and taking the piss a bit, which is quite interesting. So that's how I remember it's 2005. So obviously this is an era which is being repeated in 2024, as we've already said, and it is again Russell T Davies, as Malcolm has already said, is really the main kind of well, how can we say it? He was obviously the main focus of its return, and with its return has brought some odd quirks, I would say. And it's a strange entity, Doctor Who. And I mean, people say that the old series was a bit sort of like quirky and a bit odd, but it brought some interesting ideas. But obviously, Christopher Eccleston's era we're talking about. So 2005. Let's start with you, Martin. Martin, what do you think about when Doctor Who returned in 2005? Let's just go from there.
I was at a Doctor Who promotional party with this Doctor Who group. They had a pub out, and they had it all done up, and I was in the pub waiting for it. And I was quite excited, but before it started, there was a pirate episode of the pilot.
Oh, that's right! It got out early. I remember hearing about
that. It had no special effects in it.
Yes, I forgot until you reminded me. It was quite a big thing. It was a leak about, like I said, about a week or two before it came out with the big build-up.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
Somebody gave me I didn't watch it. I waited. I waited to see
it magically
it
appeared on your screen even back then, did it, Martin?
Yes, from nowhere. But it's when I saw the first episode, I thought it was a fantastic start.
Right.
It was funny. I like the nesting consciousness being in it. I like the whole.
From the old series, they're from the old series.
Yeah.
Aren't they? Yep.
The same when they all bust out of the shops. They started it really well. Great introduction. But you knew there was a sadness with Eccleston's character. There was a sadness, and I just thought it was great. For me, I would have liked to see Eccleston do a second season.
I think most of them did.
Coming.
Yeah.
I thought Eccleston, it was all about redemption.
Yeah.
Because they were just going to leave. They were just going to clear off and be on his own. But she brought him back to how he was before.
I
like the scene with Camille Caudry, where she's in the bedroom and she says, "Oh look,
you're in my bedroom."
And he's going, "Yeah, I'm totally clueless."
And he goes, "No, I'm not going there. No, exactly.
Yeah,
There's a man in my bedroom." How about you, Malcolm? How did you, when obviously it came back, it was a big thing for you as well, as it was for all us in the UK. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, I loved it when the opening theme tune kicked in. That was a great moment.
It was a good beat. Yes,
it was good.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Eccleston was brilliant. Rose was brilliant.
Yeah.
Like you say, what I would like to see with Eccleston, like you say, do a second, maybe even a third season.
Yeah, get well established.
He regenerates because he's saving someone, and that's his big redemption moment. That's what they should have done. Unfortunately, we weren't going to get that.
Yeah.
Because stuff I really didn't like about the show. I didn't like the fact that the Time Lords are now, because at the time he thought they'd been destroyed. I didn't like that. That's just insane. They're a time traveling race. He's a time traveler. He could have gone there whenever he wanted, and if he couldn't,
I always thought that. I thought.
But if he can't go
back
there
in time
before, if he's destroyed them completely, then he would have been destroyed as well. If he's completely destroyed the race out of time and everything,
they're out of time.
How comes he's still alive?
Yeah.
He can't.
Yeah,
He can't do
that
that.
really didn't sit well with me. I didn't like the
can't-
one episode format. You know, for me, cliffhangers were a massive, massive part of Doctor Who. You know, that kind of.
Yeah,
Apparently,
You know what I mean? It just taking that away just did it for me. One of the things I didn't like, they took Cartaz's console room. I think I've said that to you before. I like the pure white one. It's why I quite like Tutti.
Roundels.
Yeah. I didn't like that. I don't like the fact that he kept going back to Earth whenever he wanted. I like the idea that he either didn't control the TARDIS, couldn't control the TARDIS, or just chose not to. I don't like the fact that he went wherever he wanted to go. The thing that really, really, really pissed me off in there was, if you think to the episode Dalek, when they introduced that Dalek, he walks in that room, it's all completely dark, he's trying to help, and then the glows went
Dark.
and then you see the fucking realization. The guy who designed and choreographed or whatever it is that particular scene must have been so pissed off that everyone knew it was coming. Prior to the series, we were told the Nation Foundation,
family,
we're not allowing it. They weren't going to allow the Daleks to be
That's
in,
right.
and that was brilliant. So that would have made this reveal amazing. But no, so they had the Dalek on the front cover of fucking Radio Times, so we know it's coming back. We know what the new design is like. Then they named the episode fucking Dalek, and then the previous episode, you even got to see the fact that big reveal was in the fucking preview for the next episode.
I remember.
Like, what the fuck are you? Do you know when Adric died? No one saw that coming. No one saw the Cyberman coming at the beginning of the episode.
I
No one
loved
saw
it when
Adric
he
dying.
died.
No.
love that.
I still cry myself to sleep every night when I see that last scene with the cracked star on the end credits and Adric's gone. It's like,
Have you not seen the extended
But even at the
episodes
end
of
of
that? Have
at
you
the
not
end of
seen the
season one-
extended episodes?
I have seen it, animated
Where he
thing.
gets eaten by dinosaurs.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
But at the end of season one, they had the chance again to have a massive Dalek reveal, and again they showed it in the fucking preview at the end of the previous
they always
episode.
do that. What about
It's
that
like
season?
They got no idea.
What about that season with the Master returns? John Simm's Master returns in Capaldi's era, and we didn't know. And it was actually, people said, look, the Master, John Simm's Master, in the episode where he's disguised, and obviously we see Missy in that episode, and we see Bill, what's the name? Bill Potts was in that episode where she becomes a Cyberman, and the Master is there in that big ship which is by the black hole. It was revealed at the beginning of that season that the Master, the old Master, was coming back. They cannot keep these things secret, and the whole point is we want to be surprised. We're nerds. I'm sorry, I'm not saying about you, Malcolm, but I'm a nerd. Martin's a nerd. I shouldn't be saying about a co-host. But as a nerd, I don't want certain spoilers. I like to get some ideas of where a story's going, but don't spoil those big things. And the Dalek coming back, especially when we heard, like you said, that the Terran State had actually refused or denied the use of the Daleks in the new series, but they managed to persuade them to use, because obviously they must have been offered a ton of money to bring the Daleks or use their the Terran property into that. But we thought they weren't going to come back. And I remember Rusty Davies saying, look, okay, we haven't got the Daleks come back, but we've got plenty of other great races to bring back. And of course they had brought them back, but it was spoiled. And that
the thing about this, I've had a lot of confusion with this about this time travel thing, about him being able to go to Gallifrey. Gallifrey apparently runs because they're sort of
it's
in
sealed
and out
off.
of
It's
time.
like its own.
So you
dimensions.
can't, once you've been there, you can't go back before. But I know it's done. But apparently, there's like the time runs differently on Gallifrey. I mean, this is what I read.
Yeah, but it's a bit
I
dark.
can see that.
Because
He
I
can't go back
thought
there.
that. Why can't he just go back to fucking Gallifrey? But he can't. It don't work. There's something to do there.
Sealed off.
Time runs
Sealed off.
normally in the
Sealed off.
universe.
Yeah.
But time runs differently on Gallifrey because it's all to do with the, what is it, the Eye of Harmony or something.
Eye of Harmony, yeah, or Rassilon.
Yeah, it's all a bit weird. I mean, there's been about 4 different explanations for this, and then the popular one is he can't cross his own timeline.
Yeah, but
He
that's
hasn't done that 1,000
Yeah.
times.
I know.
but what they do is,
but-
I mean, he does that, and what happens is they say that when he does cross his timeline, the other versions forget those
Yeah.
experiences.
Yeah, they do.
That's the explanation, at least in the 5 Doctors. I think in the 3 Doctors. I don't know.
There's something I've noticed as well.
What's that?
When he regenerates, the right big thing, isn't it?
Sure.
But like when you go to Gallifrey, you've got normal people, like normal Time Lord people that live there. Well, it's like when it's like there's no big thing about their regeneration.
Well,
They
no,
just
but
do it
I mean,
casually,
I
don't
thought
they?
only.
Do you know, I just think it's like when you go there, like that episode with Capaldi and Rassilon,
Uh-huh.
and that fella became that woman, that
Yes,
general.
yes, that's
And
right. Yes.
It were very casual. It were done in 5 minutes, and she just got up, and it was like,
Yeah, but that was a gimmick
oh.
scene. It was just it was.
I know,
It was
but
supposed to
they
be
seem
funny,
to do
but
that quite a lot.
yeah, but I
when
don't
it
like
comes
that.
to
I,
him,
it should be more serious. It's like
yeah,
if
that's what I mean.
they
to
don't
go-
do that. They don't
When
do
it's
that.
him, it's a big thing. There's like.
But I mean,
sometimes it goes wrong.
I reminded of the
memory.
episode of Doctor Who with Tom Baker where he goes back to Gallifrey, and someone spots him and he says, "Oh, I think I know you. And have you changed or something?" And it was very informal that he had regenerated, but somehow he sensed he was the Doctor, even though he's changed his face. So
Yeah, but that's the other thing. Eccleston said when he was asked on that space station in first season, that woman that scanned him, that alien, she said, "Impossible, you're a Time Lord."
the tree.
Yeah, the tree alien,
yeah,
and he said, "I can sense my own people."
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
yeah,
so really, I mean, Capaldi should have recognised Missy as the master, really. You know.
yeah, but
They
Or at
have
least the
been-
Time Lord.
Yeah,
The Master's slightly different though, because let's not forget the Master has used up all his allotted regenerations, and he's using like the Eye of Harmony and the Traken power and various other things to stay alive.
substitute.
Keeper of
Yeah.
Traken.
Yeah.
It's funny with the Master. I mean, the Master never appeared in the Christopher Eccleston series, but it's funny. Everyone likes the Roger Delgado Master, and I know he's
I
very.
love him.
I know he's very pantomime, but I actually like Anthony Ainley. I like the 80s.
I'd say Henley were good. I thought
Haley was brilliant. He was
Laugh.
just very badly written. He was,
I did like
they
him.
just
I
treated
really
him
liked
like an
him.
arse.
Yeah,
I really liked his Master.
I love that laugh he used to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It was good.
and you know, I'm a big fan of the Master. I thought
I like the Master. Yeah,
the last one,
Sasha,
I forgot his name.
Sasha.
I thought
yeah.
he was fantastic.
I liked him too, actually. I thought it was
Yeah.
really cool. But I mean, obviously, I know we're going off topic, but I don't know whether the Master's going to return anymore. I mean, I don't know.
I
I
think
mean,
we've had a bit too much Master now. I want the rounding. That's what I.
but in Eccleston's era, because obviously we're trying to focus on that, we had the Daleks return. We saw a Cyberman head, which was quite cool.
yeah, we did in that
in that museum in
yeah.
2012. I mean, I was trying to think of episodes in that series that I quite liked. I liked the episode Father's Day, where Rose is trying to save her dad from the car crash. I thought that was quite a good episode for me.
I liked the idea of the episode. I didn't like the stupid monsters that come to kill everything.
recreators,
and
the
change
recreators.
lives. I thought that was nonsense. But the
Yeah.
concept of why the Doctor can't allow one of his companions to do
to
that
actually
shit.
do that.
Because every one of them is going to have wanted to do it at some point.
Well,
But
we've gone
I did
back
like
down
that
that.
idea.
We've gone down that path this weekend, haven't we? Because he said to her, didn't he? He said to the new one, he said, "I'll take you anywhere you want, but the one place we can't go
Can't go to Ruby Road or what it is. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's similar sort of
Which
thing.
means you
what
know
you're about.
they are 100% going
Go in
to
there.
Ruby
Of course
Road.
they're gonna
Oh
be
yeah,
going there.
definitely.
Yeah.
Last episode, that is exactly where they're going.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I know, it's interesting. So other aspects of season 1, like I said, I think Eccleston really nailed it. It's just that whenever I watch these episodes, I always feel sorry that because of behind the scenes, he was very, very unhappy with the whole thing.
Did you see that convention footage?
Oh, God, we've all seen
Did
that.
you
We've
see that?
Malcolm, did you see that?
I'm not sure. Remind me.
He just basically, he was there with Billy Piper, and they asked him about if he
Yeah.
could return to Doctor Who, and he said, "Sack Russell T Davies."
Oh, yes,
Stuart
of course,
Garner,
yeah.
and he
Went
really,
viral, that.
and it was quite impressive the venom coming out of him, and it's weird because when the 50th anniversary came back, they asked him again to come back, and obviously in the end they got John Hurt, who I actually like John Hurt's character, but it was a shame that I still think they could have just had Paul McGann, but that's just me. But it's kind of like it's a shame that he was I think he's quite a good actor as a Doctor. I think that I like this lots of planets of the North kind of thing, and he was obviously a bit jaded and hurt from the situation and damaged from this experience, but I still rate him quite highly in New Who compared to some of the other Doctors. I don't know whether I don't know how high you rate him.
His final moments are probably the best of any regeneration when he says to Rose, "You were fantastic."
And so was I.
So was I. That was brilliant. There are probably better regeneration stories, but the actual moment, no one's topped that. That was brilliant.
It was superb.
And I actually think that's partly what made Doctor Who so popular again, that because he was only there for the one season, it introduced New Who fans to this idea of regeneration, where they could have like strung it out for about 2 or 3 seasons, which would have been better for his character, but the idea of regeneration was introduced quite early, and so suddenly people are like, hang on, this is like the Doctor, but he's got a new face and he's different, he's got different. That's one of the actual most endearing aspects of Doctor Who over the last 60 years. That's what makes it so unique. And I think that although it's a weird sort of pros and cons thing, where basically, yes, we should see a lot more of Eccleston's Doctor, learn a bit more about who he was and how he, how he would have actually developed. But him sort of cut short in his prime, or even in his early days, made his era, for me at least, a bit more poignant, a bit more stand out.
I think what we're clever about is how they connected it all as well, from McGann to War Doctor to Eccleston. I thought eventually, the film events there, that were fantastic.
I mean, what was a shame that in the 50th anniversary we saw the scene where the War Doctor started to actually regenerate into Eccleston. Yeah. And if you watch closely, you can see the silhouette of Eccleston's face. Yeah. And then they faded out, and I think they did that because Eccleston hadn't agreed to appear, and I think they didn't want to sort of push it too far. But it would have been great just to have like 10 seconds of him saying fantastic or something. You know what I mean?
I like the episode where they went into the future. I think it was that TV station, Simon Pegg. The two-parter.
Satellite 5, what it's called. Satellite something.
Yeah. And in from Coronation Street, when they took him into the future, they picked him up in that vault, didn't they, in America? And when they took him into the future, he put he had
that thing with the. He was in like he technically was a companion, I suppose. He was in one episode after the episode, as you say.
Yeah.
And then he I can't remember what happened to his character.
Well, I love the scene when his mother walks in and Doctor just.
Oh, that's right. He got returned home, and then she clicked her fingers, and then of course the panel opened up, and I mean, other aspects. I mean, obviously we saw the character, the last human alive, which was like just a piece of skin.
Oh God, Cassandra.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yes, I forgot about her.
That was when I took a real kind of, oh fuck, this ain't going well moment. That was it.
I remember that.
Yeah.
About that.
Yeah, Cassandra, and she returned as well with Eccleston as well, Dave Tennant as well. And then we had the episode.
One of the other big things of
Go on, Malcolm.
One of the other big things on it, and why I know you disagree, but why I consider it more of a reboot than a continuation, is, for me, they changed the entire concept of regeneration. In the original classic series, the Doctor never dies and regenerates. That never happened. That's never a part of it. So there's two things. One, I'm fairly certain that regeneration is in some way technology based. And I could list all the reasons why, but we'd be here for about 20 minutes, half hour. And all that. I think I might have even sent it to you on a
very quickly. So you're saying that the Doctor technically never dies in the original series?
No.
What about Metebelis 3, where he got
he was very ill, and he goes beyond like the original thing. He goes beyond the TARDIS's ability to heal him.
And what about Peter Davison's with the radiation?
Again, he's simply beyond the TARDIS's ability, so the TARDIS regenerates him instead.
So you're saying that the TARDIS is the catalyst for the regeneration?
Yeah, or the Time Lords themselves, like in the
Yep.
second one, they do it
Okay,
too.
yeah, no, I can see that. I'm not.
Yeah,
I can see that.
agree.
The
Yeah,
I
right.
very
agree
first
with that,
regeneration is definitely the TARDIS, because he walks in, he starts clicking knobs and stuff, and then the TARDIS starts doing stuff on its own. He collapses and then regenerates.
Well, has
So it's
that been
100%
actually-
the TARDIS the first time?
Well, has that ever been proposed with the fan base? I've not really particularly heard that aspect before. Is that or is that something you just? That's just your
Yeah, it's
perspective.
just, I could list. I've
So-
listed a load of stuff, and I've never had anybody come back. A couple of people come back and say, "Hey, to regenerate, you have to have been to the Time Lord Academy," and all this bollocks.
No,
but that ties into the.
But they did say his regeneration. I think. I mean, he came from this unknown race, were found by the Time Lords. But they.
Oh, that's all
they-
new
they
stuff, isn't
used-
it? Now.
Yeah, but I know. But you can. What you're fearing, you can tie it in because they use technology to take the regeneration DNA and put it into themselves. They use technology. So
I like it. What about if the TARDIS is like an amplifier? What if basically? Because I kind of like the idea.
yeah, he's destroyed the TARDIS when he's regenerated. He's burnt it up inside.
Well, no, but maybe
the energy.
maybe the TARDIS is very damaged in order to facilitate the regeneration.
Like a healing box.
No, I kind of like that,
a-
Malcolm. I actually that makes quite. Most of the regenerations have been around or inside the TARDIS. It's just new. Yeah, okay. I like that. I don't
Or
know-
in some
yeah.
way helped along. So the Time Lords did Troughton, and obviously Choji used magic.
So, yeah,
could have
yeah.
just been using some form of his own technology. And you've also got the fact that the Doctor is scared of death. He always assumes the Master, for instance, tries to kill him all the time. The Master is under no illusion. If he kills the
'cause
Doctor, he's dead.
a
The
rich-
Doctor
a
will
rich-
not regenerate.
Originally, in the original canon, it was only 12 regenerate. That were it. After
That's
12,
it.
you were
That's it.
finished. Yeah. Because any Time Lord that went beyond 12 started going insane. And
Like
like
Peter
with the
Pratt's
Master.
Master.
Yeah. Like the Master. And look at Morbius. I mean, another Time Lord, wasn't it? Even
I was reading something. in the wiki, the Doctor Who, that they're saying now that the Mobius is an earlier Doctor himself. This the black
brain
lady that they
yeah,
had.
yeah.
That at some point there, I didn't read the whole thing because it was just boring as fuck. But it seemed to be tied in that Mobius is an older version of the Doctor himself. And I thought, where the fuck did this come from?
But that isn't that the episode where we saw the actual potentially other faces of the Doctor, the brain and
Well,
Morbius,
we saw
wasn't it?
that the Mobius takes him back
Mobius.
past himself.
Well, we saw
through
aspects of
regeneration.
we saw.
Not the idea that
unknown
Mobius
regeneration.
himself is the Doctor.
Yeah. That's it. I remember now. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. It's interesting.
I'd like to see Morbius come back. I would like to see Morbius come
Well,
back.
we are seeing Susan's coming back. I'm guaranteeing it. Susan's coming back this season. I'm
There
telling
are
you that.
people I'd like to see come back, but they fuck it up every time they bring something back. Every single
Rani. I want to see
villain
I
they
want to see the
brought back.
Rani come back.
But again, every villain they brought back from Classic Who has been shit. They've ruined them all. Not one of them has been any good.
You say when we got Capaldi, I know we're going off topic.
Well, that's
but
okay.
when
It's
we
all right.
got-
Go on.
When we got Capaldi, and Missy were fascinating. I remember seeing Missy. for the
Missy
first
should have
time.
been Susan.
Yeah, or the
Yeah.
Rani.
I can
Or
see
the
that.
Rani.
Yeah.
And me and my friend, we were all, it's the Rani, it's the Rani. And
Or
then we
Romana.
got the episode where she says, but you do know who I am. And then we all clicked, she's the Master. And it was like, I like the Master, but I thought, it's
I think
a
the
bit of
Master's a bit
cop-out.
done now.
Would it have been better if
I think we've had an.
Rani.
I think the Masters have
You
been
know.
done. I mean, I know that sooner or later
Oh,
we're going
they
to see.
can.
We're going to see that. I mean, we're going to see the Master again probably at some point relatively soon. I would imagine. The Daleks will be back. The Cybermen. It's always a three. It's
I'm
like,
fed up with Daleks now.
yeah. I mean, they are. I don't know. I think they've got to read
And
it.
Cybermen, they've just, Cyber. I mean, they've done some great stories with them. I mean, it's like, again, is this the third time the Time Lords have been wiped out now? Again. The most
Yeah.
powerful race in the universe, and they've been
Yeah,
wiped
but
out
Russell
again.
T Davies, obviously, he was very upset that Stephen Moffat actually brought them back. And then, was it Chibnall who killed them off again? I can't remember. Who killed them off the second time?
I want them back.
Yeah, it was Chibnall because the Master does it. He turns them all into
Yeah.
Spider-Man
So
or
Chibnall
something.
killed them off
yeah.
again. But Russell T Davies was really upset with Stephen Moffat, who's actually returning for writing the next episode for next week's episode called.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, called Boom, I think it's called. He's
That's
back next
right.
week. I don't. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it would be interesting as a dynamic to have them back as a background influence on the show. You know, it's been 20 years almost since they've been wiped out. I mean, would you both like to see them back, or but would you? I mean,
I think they're a focus point.
It's more like it's basically watching Star Trek where the Federation's been destroyed. It's just like Voyager on its own, like in the Delta Quadrant, but except it can't go home. It's the same thing. It's kind of like it's nice to have the big bosses at home telling the Doctor what you can and can't do, and that's one aspect I think it's been long enough where let's have them back. Let's have them like
the one Doctor Who villain I would like to see unleashed at full potential.
What's that?
Is Rassilon. Rassilon, yeah.
Yeah, okay, maybe.
And the Rastic Warrior from the film, that was super. The one that can assassinate at speed of light.
Oh, you mean the one from the Five Doctors?
Yeah, I'd love
the one that goes
Rastic
like that.
robot.
Yeah, I remember.
Loved it.
Yeah, I quite remember.
Took out 8 Cybermen in about a minute, and I thought I'd really like to see that. You know,
we're supposed to be getting the Rutans this season, though, as well, aren't we?
Oh,
the Rutans.
Really?
Which one's
they're the enemy of the
Sontarans.
Sontarans.
Yeah, we've only seen them so far as a shape-changing green ball.
Yeah, that in Tom Baker episode, set in that lighthouse.
Horror, is it Horror Fan Rock?
Horror
Yeah.
The only way I'd want to see the Cybermen come back, to be honest, there's a Big Finish audio called Spare Parts, which is the only Big Finish audio I quite liked. And if they could rework that story as a cheeky one, that would be brilliant. That was a really, really good story. Kind of the origins of the Cybermen, how they ended up changing themselves and what have you. That was really good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, we are going off topic, but that's great. I love talking about off topic, but I suppose we better focus on. I mean, favorite episodes of the Chris Eccleston era. What episodes were the best? Which ones
Empty
were terrible? Empty Child.
The Eccleston thing for me, if you put it down as a chapter in a book, it worked very well because, like, when you got to the final 2 episodes with the Dalek Emperor and the time energy, she becomes omnipotent and wipes them all out, and he absorbs it, and I thought that was superb. I thought that to Bad Wolf. I thought that to finish a season like that and then regenerate into Tennant. I just thought, I'm going to say the first season is exemplary. I will say.
And I like the return. I like the recurring
spinning Christmas trees and
yeah, but I mean, Doctor Who Christmas specials, a lot of them have been terrible. I don't know what it is about Doctor Who and Christmas, but it doesn't work very well. I don't know why they keep doing it. I'd say about 20% of them work. The rest are just shite. I don't know what it is. They always seem to get it wrong. I don't know why. There have been 1 or 2 good ones, but a lot of them have been just like, what the fuck am I watching, by the way? And obviously Eccleston was gone by the time for the first Christmas special, but I think it's been a good era. I suppose, really, how would you consider his era compared to Tennant, Matt Smith, Jodie Whittaker, Peter Capaldi? How would you rate him in New Who compared to the other Doctors? Malcolm?
I'm hard pushed to choose between him and David Tennant as to who's the best. Capaldi was a definite 3rd place.
Okay.
Matt Smith 4th place. I didn't like Jodie Whittaker at all, but Tennant and Eccleston is, for me, it's almost impossible.
Top notch, at the top.
Child number 2.
Okay, fair enough. And how about you, Martin?
I go for Tennant, Capaldi, and Eccleston for me.
Yeah. Okay. I think for me it would have to be Tennant. I think it would be the same for me. I think Capaldi would be 2, Eccleston would be 3, Matt Smith would be 4, and then Whittaker would be 5, and then obviously the new guy, Ncuti Gatwa. I can't review him yet; it's too early to.
Would you have season 1 in your collection?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Malcolm, would you have season 1 in your collection? I don't know about that.
While it's still available to stream in about 16 different places, I don't feel any need to buy it.
Yeah, but I mean, if you didn't have that option, if you were, would you have it if that wasn't the option?
Probably. There are episodes in it I do like to rewatch. I'm not entirely sure I wouldn't use nefarious means to get it rather than
Sure,
shelling
that's
out
exactly
hard-earned
what
cash.
I'm asking. Exactly why I'm checking with you. Okay, I would be the same. I would actually, if it was just simply that the only option is to have a copy of it to keep at home, I would keep it. So I think that's a fair enough assessment. Okay, guys. Well, thank you very much for that review. That's really good.
And we haven't rated it.
Okay, well, I mean, is there a rating? Okay, I mean, we've done the. Are we going to keep it rating? I would rate it out of. Oh, this is hard with Doctor Who. I would rate it. If you, I'll go first. If that's okay with you both. I'll rate it 7.5.
8.
Malcolm.
6.5.
Okay, so right in the middle. Okay, I'm in the middle between you two. Okay, that's fair enough. Okay, well, that's pretty good. I mean, like I said, it's an interesting sort of era, but yeah, it's very different from classic Who, but I do like it, and I'm glad that they brought it back with him. Okay, guys, that's pretty much it. I think anything else to say before we sign off?
No, don't think so.
Okay, so I suppose the question is, Martin, it's your choice. I always, with a sense of beds, what are we reviewing next week?
Right, this is rather sad. It's sad, but I want you to watch it.
Oh God.
Right, and a George Powell film before we start. George
I
Powell.
know the Atlantis film.
Yes.
Yes, I know. I've got it. I've got it. I will watch it. Have you Atlantis? What's it called? Atlantis? What is it exactly?
Atlantis: The Lost Continent. It's one of George Powell's lesson.
Because I like George Powell's with the 1953 War of the Worlds, which is really good, and some of the others. Have you seen that, Malcolm?
I don't think so. I'd have to. If I've seen it, I've forgotten it. I would have to. If I might watch it again and think, oh yeah, I remember this, but I don't. It doesn't ring any bells.
Okay, so to quickly ask Martin, what is it about this film you're making me watch this weekend? Why am I watching this film?
Well, it's got all your stereotype villains in it from 1960s.
Okay.
Big Robs and old Togas, and it's like Atlantis once conquered world in Roman time, but they've got submarines and laser guns. They're like secret. They're like the missing civilization.
Okay.
And it's very good. You've got magic and monsters.
Well, most of your
submarines,
stuff, most of your stuff that you actually recommend, I do like. Not everything, but
you might
much.
not. But you've got this. I mean, you've got the stereotype villain in a cape, and he's got an eye patch, and everybody's insane. It's so stereotypical as this film, but the concept has potential.
Okay.
So I'd like to go with that next one.
Okay, well, like I said, it's your choice, so that's fine. So we'll do that next week. Malcolm, I hope you're back soon. Let us know what you're doing, but you're always welcome. You've got an open invite.
Yeah, no worries.
If you've seen the film, if you get a chance to watch the film, then if you're free next week, then please join us. But we'll see you again very soon, Malcolm. And Martin, thank you very much again. It's been a good one. Very Doctor Who related, this one, but that's nothing wrong with that. I was going to end with the gay Daleks thing that I sent Malcolm and you, but I just think I'm going to get to me downvote, so I'm not going to do that. It's very funny, but it's very old-fashioned, and a lot of people don't sort of like funny. So I'm going to leave that this week. I'm going to be I'm growing up. You see, I'm 51 now. I'm being more mature. You see, that's the power of modern media in me on YouTube after 17 years. So, guys, thank you very much. We'll be back next week on the Solar One Sci-Fi Podcast. Live long
and prosper.